Good evening. Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Matthew Alvarez. This is RSBN Live as we are live into the evening hours. Of course, tonight as we will see President Trump from the state dining room, where the president will participate in the White House Iftar dinner. This is an evening dinner in which Muslims eat to break their fast during Ramadan. So we'll have that coverage right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We'll see the president here shortly. In about 13 minutes from now. So we'll see as soon as that gets started, we'll send it there to the White House. A lot of coverage, of course, just this week so far. So many live press conferences or events happening as this news cycle is in high gear, of course, as the president continues to win in Washington through common sense policies. America First, the agenda just taking off, doing great as we have seen over the past 2+ months right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. So thank you again for streaming in with us. As soon as we see that feed there at the White House, the state dining room, we will take you there live. That, according to the White House press information, that at 8 o'clock will be this dinner. Also, Muslims for President posted the following on X after President Trump won the White House. On behalf of Muslims for Trump, we extend our warmest congratulations on your election as the 47th President of the United States. We're proud to have played a role in mobilizing Muslim American voters in key swing states to support your vision for our nation. Your commitments to end the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine and to prioritize American tax dollars for the benefit of the American people resonate deeply within our community. We share your hope for a future where resources are devoted to improving our country and advancing the well-being of every American rather than funding wars overseas. As you take a beautiful live picture of the White House right now at 7:49 Eastern Time. From the Muslims for Trump, this statement that was posted on X right after the president won the White House, saying, as you take office, Muslims for Trump stand ready to support you in fulfilling these goals, and we look forward to seeing the positive impact of your leadership on all Americans. Once again, this coverage tonight, you'll see the president participate in that White House Iftar dinner. Again, the Iftar dinner is an evening dinner in which Muslims eat to break their fast during Ramadan. So the president will be at that event at the state dining room at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Of course, we've been seeing, again, a lot of news, including the MS-13, one of those leaders getting taken off the streets by our great FBI and AG's office, to continuing the law and order, increasing that here, and seeing the numbers of illegal aliens drop throughout our country. Great to see those things happening. And also as the president and the team work on getting fentanyl out of our borders, that terrible, terrible poison that is in various drugs throughout the country, getting all of that just taken away from this nation to keep us safe, keep us healthy, and keep us on the right track. And that's part of the job of law enforcement, is to protect and serve and to protect the lives of people. So it's great to see a number of things happening out there with ICE and others when it comes to securing our borders, securing our nation. And what is great is that we do have a country of people from all walks of life right here in this nation. And it's awesome to see that. Those that are legal in this country, wonderful to see that. And also an opportunity for those that are illegally here to sign up on that CBP Home app. So that's that Customs Border Protection app, saying, okay, I'm self-deporting, which puts them on a list that says, well, you can actually sign up to try and get back into the country legally, to go through that whole legalization process. So ways to get into the nation just simply legally. So at the end of the day, we're seeing a lot of great things happen with the border czar, Tom Homan, with President Trump, Kash Patel, and others within Washington and around this country, and in some cases around the globe. Two of the top cabinet leaders, the DHS Secretary Kristi Noem overseas today, as is the Secretary of State Marco Rubio. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of movement happening domestically and globally, all for the America First agenda. And you might wonder, how in the world does a global policy help for America First agenda? Well, everything that's done globally is with the America First and the people of this country in mind priority number one. So we're seeing that through the tariffs that are happening. And you know, it's interesting, the only people up in arms and complaining right now would be maybe a couple foreign leaders, you know, our so-called friends to the north, and our friends are the people of Canada. But the guy up there, Carney, thinking he's cool, saying, okay, well, now that you're tariffing us, we're going to do all this to you guys. And then you've got the mainstream media, who, of course, is all over the place, and they just can't understand common sense and what is good for our nation and what we, the people, the majority of our nation, voted for. So we're seeing a lot of great wins, and it's nice to have that happen. And it's great to see a lot more of a peaceful front, a peace through strength happening with President Trump. And I believe we do have a video regarding Washington, D.C., where the White House actually posted a video within the hour. Let's take a look at that video.
We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. We will take over our horribly run Washington, D.C. and clean up, renovate, and rebuild our capital so that it is no longer a nightmare of murder and crime. We're going to get all the graffiti off the marble. We're going to fix the roads and the medians, which are falling down all over the streets. Washington, D.C. will become a symbol of beauty, security, freedom, and strength.
There you go. Quite awesome to see that right there live. A video just posted by the White House moments ago, and wanting to have this capital of our nation to be made great and to see it cleaned up. And President Trump's not stopping, and we know that, and we know that cabinet leaders aren't quitting. They're continuing through for the next 4 years. And then on top of that, if there is a Republican or an America First candidate that wins the White House in 28, 29, that we can continue this into the future, because this is what's interesting. It's what the majority of the entire country wants. We interviewed earlier today, Robert McNeely and I did, someone that works in athletics, and she created her own company called XXXY Athletics. And the point I'm bringing that up is because she said she used to be a Democrat, and things happened during COVID and all the lockdowns, and she just said, you know what? That's not going to work for me and my family and my kids. And she became a Republican, and she voted for Donald Trump. We're seeing people that used to be on the left side of the aisle who got woken up because it was a drastic wake-up call of COVID, but also of the fake win by Biden in the past 4 years of how terrible it was. So then all of us, you know, a lot of us said, we're voting for Trump. And then that's what happened. So we saw the majority of the country do that, and it's wonderful to see it. And it's wonderful to see a lot of wins by our president and by our team that are in the White House when it comes to the cabinet positions that President Trump has assigned so many great people at those different posts. So we're seeing, including, I was talking about two cabinet leaders that were overseas, the Secretary of State and the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, but also the Secretary of the Defense, Pete Hegseth, overseas as well. So that's three top leaders representing our country across the globe in an effort for peace through strength, and an effort for positive things in trade and U.S. foreign relations. And it's great to see all systems go right now. The only thing that we're missing at this point is a U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. President Trump today on Truth Social saying he doesn't want to lose a seat when it comes to Congress. And Elise Stefanik, going back to her post as a congresswoman from the great state of New York. So now that still leaves an opening for the United States ambassadorship to the United Nations. As we take a beautiful live look there at Washington, D.C., that is the base there of the Washington Monument. And obviously a lot of traffic there inside the Beltway of Washington, D.C. as we await this Iftar dinner that President Trump will be taking part in, participating in at the State Dining Room. That should be starting within the next 5 minutes. According to the schedule, it starts at 8 o'clock Eastern time, so we'll take you there as soon as it starts. If it's a little bit late, we'll hang with you and we'll watch it together once that dinner starts. All right, so let's look at a few of the posts from President Trump earlier today on Truth Social. As we advance our America First agenda, it is essential that we maintain every Republican seat in Congress. This is referring to the point I was just making about Elise Stefanik. He said that we must be unified to accomplish our mission, and Elise Stefanik has been a vital part of our efforts from the very beginning. So President Trump says, I have asked Elise and one of my biggest allies to remain in Congress to help me deliver historic tax cuts, great jobs, record economic growth, a secure border, energy dominance, peace through strength, and much more, so we can make America great again. With a very tight majority, I don't want to take a chance on anyone else running for Elise's seat. The people love Elise, and with her, we have nothing to worry about come Election Day. There are others that could do a good job at the United Nations. Therefore, Elise will stay in Congress, rejoin the House leadership team, and continue to fight for our amazing American people. Speaker Johnson is thrilled, the president's saying, and President Trump also says, I look forward to the day when Elise is able to join my administration in the future. She is absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Elise. That from the president earlier today on Truth Social. Also speaking about Congressman Scott Perry, a tremendous representative for the great people of Pennsylvania's 10th Congressional District, a retired Army Brigadier General. Scott, a MAGA warrior who always puts America first. And that post continues on there from President Trump from earlier today. So there's a lot of posts that we can monitor, of course, here at the network. So can you. But it's great to see information and statements from the leader of the free world directly to the American people, and to bring some context here at the network as well, through opinion, through analysis, through commentary. But outside of that, really, at the end of the day, to bring you the live coverage from what's happening in Washington, D.C. Sometimes we have stories that are outside the Beltway as well. Just keeping the tabs on what's going on, monitoring the news, monitoring these live events, and bringing you the full coverage from start to finish, uninterrupted. So you can kind of see it with us and enjoy some of the coverage as well. As we know, President Trump, not only super serious, he's also super funny, comedic. Timing is perfect with the president. So we'll be seeing that in various events. So again, later today, or actually tonight at 8 o'clock from the State Dining Room, President Trump to meet there and participate in the White House Iftar dinner. So that will be happening here at any minute, and we'll take you there live as soon as we get it, as we take a beautiful look at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Looking forward to seeing the president tonight there at the White House. Again, the State Dining Room. President Trump always bringing that truth and transparency through the White House, of course, through whether it's at the Oval Office when he's signing executive orders and taking questions, or whether it's Carolyn Levitt at the podium in the White House press briefing room taking on the fake news questions. Of course, we have new media and conservative media represented in there, but it's a much smaller percentage because this legacy establishment dinosaur media who asks the same question over and over and over again because they have nothing else that they can ask, because they realize that President Trump and the team are winning, and doing some more winning. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being undefeated. There's nothing wrong with being a winner. There's nothing wrong with being a champion or a hero. And we see that with President Trump. It's quite awesome to see President Trump's career go from the real estate mogul, then to The Apprentice, then all of these great friendships he had over the years with famous people on both sides of the aisle, and then becoming the President of the United States as the 45th president. And because he was an outsider, we saw so much hate from the left and the whole pop culture thing and the entertainment and the media industries. And now all of it has been turned upside down, and we see wins happening. We see conservative media on the rise. Robert McNeely and I were talking earlier today about Rush Limbaugh and how awesome, a great, as Robert called him, a godfather of conservative media. And he is the creator of conservative media. It was so awesome. He would be so happy to see what's happening right now in conservative media. Just imagine hearing his voice, at these White House press briefing conferences or on the radio again. So what we do in conservative media, we take the mantle from what he did and we move on in support of free speech, in support of the Constitution, in support of this land, in support of all of you that are on the side of we the people out there. And if you're not on the side of President Trump or this administration, or you don't like anything we're talking about, at the end of the day, we know that President Trump is the president of the entire country. And also at the end of the day, we look to unite through peace, through strength. This is not something that is what the left-wing mob or the woke ideology mindset would tell you, or the left-wing media. These are the only few people that are doing that. This is not the majority of the country, as you guys know. This is when you have a woke mob out there throwing things at a Tesla dealership, right? Or you have the media just continue on with what they say at these press briefings. What we're seeing is people that are so wrapped up in that woke mind virus. So they might have some good hearts, good-hearted people out there, but somehow, some way, through the institutions of education or upbringing or media or whatever, has always been those positions of power that the leftists seem to have infiltrated and wanted to control the minds and the masses of the people for so long. And finally, thanks be to God and thanks be to Donald Trump for us to be able to break free of that junk back in the day in 2015, 2016, and then President Trump calling out the fake news. How awesome has this ride been? And the ride's not ending. We're going to continue on this 4 years, and conservative media and people that are of the free world and pro-free speech and our love for God and country and family is not going away. It won't ever go away. It's always going to be here. And we want to just, basically, we want to have our own lives. We want to be able to create something good for our lives. We want to have a business, or we want to have success, or we want to have a family, or we want to practice our faith how we want to. And so we don't want government putting their thumbs down on us saying, this is how you're supposed to do this. We're going to monitor your social credit score. You can't say this. You can say that. None of that crap's happening on our watch here in this country. And it's great to have a leader, Commander-in-Chief, President Donald Trump, on point with his all-star cast of patriots who are doing great right now. You won't hear any of this from the mainstream media because they hate truth. Not every Democrat, though, across the country we're talking about. We're not talking about the people. We're just talking about those that are so-called in power in Washington when it comes to some of the leftists, some of the radical leftists. And then those that are in the media that really like to really push that fake news agenda. And then those that are in the woke mob that are out there doing ridiculous things. At the end of the day, it's pretty clear. If you're in the country illegally, and especially if you're here illegally and you commit a crime, whether it's related to fentanyl, whether it's worse, whether it's in the sense of worse, I mean, murder and rape and assaults and fentanyl, all of it's in the same ballpark, right? Whether it's related to your support for a terrorist organization, if you're here illegally, you're gonna be kicked out of this country. You're out. And to see people that are Americans that are protesting against this kind of thing when it comes to someone that is here on a visa, and then they're protesting against that person being kicked out, that's not going to work. It's against the law when it comes to all of those crimes I was talking about. But also, if you're going to support a terrorist organization, that is something that the Secretary of State Marco Rubio and others have been very clear about. Your visa will be revoked. You don't have to accept every visa that comes into this country. And if you come into the country and then start acting up in that way, your visa will be revoked. It's pretty simple. And these people that are out there, and by the way, again, it's only the few. The media wants us to think, and the left leading government, in Washington and Congress, some of the senators, they want us to think that it's this huge swath of people. That's why Bernie Sanders and AOC are doing those oligarchy things, rallies out there. And look at all these people. And they have this wide shot of a few thousand people acting like it's millions. They're in the minority. And it has nothing to do with where they're from. It has nothing to do with what they look like. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's just the numbers. And that's what's great about this country. If you have a majority of people that vote for a candidate, they win. Too big to rig. It happened. So anyway, that's what I was thinking for the past few minutes, and I shared it with you here on TV. So it's 8:06 Eastern Time. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We will be going to live coverage there at the White House. Again, this is for the state dining room evening dinner, Iftar dinner that the president will participate in at the White House. So as soon as we see a live feed, we'll take you there live. And again, we want to thank all of our viewers, all the loyal viewers over the years since 2015, all the way until right now and into the future. Without each viewer, without each of you that are watching right now on Rumble and everywhere you're watching, whether there is literally 2,000 people watching, whether it's 22,000 people, whether it's 220,000, whatever the number is, we care about you. You care about us. Why? Because we're part of the same team. We want freedom. We the people to win. We want to see law and order increase. We want to see crime drop. We want to be more wealthy. We want to be safe. We want to be healthy. We want to be made great again in this nation. So we're on that team. We're on that, in that vein, as they say. So this is what you get, a dedicated team of people that are here for the free speech of America, but also for the person that is standing and for we the people, and who has proven not only through the first administration, but through the past 4 years of all of that garbage we just went through. And then we now see him standing up, even with all of the assaults, all of the assaults on his character, all of the lawfare, the attempted assassinations, all that stuff that God kept him from, and all of our prayers and hard work and everything that's got us to this point. So when President Trump and the team are just keeping their foot on the gas pedal, pedal to the metal, and they're continuing on each day. I saw an article recently, someone saying, and I don't remember where it was from, but I know I saw an article. It said something about slowing down. President Trump's not going to slow down. This team is not going to slow down, and we're not going to slow down, because if you had your life threatened, if you went through something that was awful, if you went through all of what President Trump has gone through, wouldn't you do the same thing for the right reasons? And he did it for the right reasons for the first administration, doing it for the right reasons for the second administration, and it's for we the people. And he wouldn't, if he did it for himself, we know that he wouldn't have run the second time around. If you went through everything he went through over the past 4 years, if he was doing this for himself, if he was part of any establishment or anything, he would have been like, okay, I did my part, I'm out of here. But no, he continued, he overcame everything. So that's an encouragement, I think, for myself, for you, for whatever anybody's dealing with in life right now. You got to overcome this thing. You got to keep on keeping on. That's what President Trump does. But even outside of that, when you look at scriptures and the Bible and that kind of thing, you see that courage and that do not fear, for God is with you. So you see those things to encourage you to keep it on no matter what. And I believe that's what we're going to see for the next 4 years of this president. And we're only in March of the first year. We've only seen him since January 20th. It is March 27th. That is 2 months and 7 days. About 67 to 70 days, if you count all the days, that's not a lot of days. And he's been doing awesome things. So we, the people, are cheering the president on and cheering on this cabinet to continue to go, and fight. Because we don't forget when President Trump said fight. We don't forget that. And we're going to continue to do that. And why are we doing that? That's the question I think we have to talk about. Why are we fighting? Because we can't forget what happened over the past 4 years. We can't forget that our country was on the cusp of literally, this isn't drama, this is facts, literally going down the wrong side of history. Our country was on the way to Niagara Falls as a ship, and we were going to crash down to the bottom, and that ship would have broken apart, and it would have been awful. But instead, somehow, some way, through too big to rig, through prayer, through hard work, we were able to win this thing. And now we won. We saw the win on November 5th, 2024. That fork in the road that we talked about time and time again during the campaign season and those rallies, we had 2 ways to go, the fork in the road. We turned on that right blinker. We went to the right side of history, and we're going to continue to fight figuratively speaking, for that. Just like President Trump said that day in Butler, Pennsylvania. That fighting spirit is still in America. That courage, that strength, everything that we have is still as part of us in the United States of America. And we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going. And what are we going to accomplish out of that? MAGA. Simple as that. Again, it's common sense. Just make America great again. And then we don't even have to talk like this anymore. We can just say, hey, you know what? How's everything going? Great. Business is great. Family's great. Gas prices are low. Egg prices are back to normal. You know, creating new things for your life, enjoying your life, you know, and just continuing that process of the American dream. If other countries don't follow suit, that's not our fault. We do see other countries, though, doing that. Hungary is one of them. When Jair Bolsonaro was the president of Brazil, the people loved Jair Bolsonaro. He was the make Brazil great again, tropical Trump type guy. These other people in these countries, they want to do what we're doing, and some of them are getting that opportunity through freedom and through business and through the economy. But we always have to remember that we don't want what anything that Biden and those people wanted for our country. They were trying to destroy it. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I think it's always good to take stock and say, okay, we're winning, but let's keep the context going, that we remember how much they don't like who we are. And what we're trying to say to them is, hey, you know what? Just like the person I interviewed earlier with Robert McNeely, she was a Democrat and now is a Republican. And that happens through hard times in life, as it was COVID for her. And she said she didn't like those lockdowns in San Francisco with her family. And so she became a Republican. And it's the same thing that's happened to a lot of Democrats. So again, this isn't kind of like this, like, stay away from me because you're a Democrat. No, it's more like, hey, like, you know, this kind of common sense, what's going on out there. We want to be safer here on these streets. We want to have lower prices. We want to have our constitutional rights. We don't want to be like China. We don't want a social credit score. We do want to be able to speak our mind. And if you speak your mind and you keep it clean and good in the sense of it's not violent, then you're good. It's pretty simple stuff. This is common sense. Anyway, fired up tonight, but it's all right. It's 8:13, Thursday, March 27th. Looking forward to seeing the president there at the White House Iftar dinner. Again, this is a dinner that is an evening dinner in which Muslims eat to break their fast during Ramadan. That's a event that President Trump will be participating in tonight. We'll bring that to you live as we get it. As it's 8:14, again, Thursday, March 27th. So continuing on as we watch for any more press briefings when it comes to the White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt. Haven't seen the press schedule for tomorrow, so not sure yet on the details for tomorrow. And sometimes, if you're wondering why sometimes different things pop up at different times, it's because we're following what's happening from the White House. We get the correspondence from the White House just as any press outlet can, and we can gear around that when it comes to various events similar to tonight. Also, when there is other breaking news or other news stories, we can always touch on that as well. And you'll see that a lot, of course, during the day. When Robert McNeely and I are in studio together, we kind of rap back and forth talking about all these things. A lot of riffing going on. But the point is, it's about being based in constitutional thought and conservative thought and common sense. So I think that's what's growing more than anything else in media right now. Is the conservative media is what resonates with you. Again, this is never got a chance to meet Rush Limbaugh, but I will say what Rush was saying over his years, we agree with, and we want to continue what he said years ago as he was the creator of conservative media. We want to continue that mantle of truth and of transparency, but also speaking about what's happening out there and being a voice to those that may not be in media, right? Which is a majority of the country. So we're going to bat for you guys. We're going to bat. I'm going to bat for my family, and everybody else here is too. This is not just a thing to do or a job to have. It's great to have, but it's also with a purpose, and it's great to be able to speak openly like this, something you can't do in the mainstream media. Because what they do is they read a teleprompter that was written by some producer, and then you just start reading these fake news scripts, and then you find yourself at a White House press briefing, and you ask Carolyn Levitt the same stupid question about Signal, that Signal app question. If you watched this week's press conference, it was quite interesting to hear from all the establishment media asking the same question, just with a different angle, when the world and our country is dealing with a lot of things, including fentanyl, including illegal aliens, trying to get them out of our country, especially those that are criminals. How about the economy? How about just constitutional rights as a whole? How about law and order up and safety up and getting our country in the right direction? All of the great things that President Trump has been doing with this cabinet, and the mainstream media, what they feel like doing is trying to throw any kind of weight on to this administration. And I'm not paid by anybody at the White House. I do this from my heart. I'm not reading from some stinking teleprompter. I'm being honest with you tonight. And I think that's what people like. They like to resonate with people. Well, hopefully you're resonating with what I'm saying, because when I keep hearing these people ask these stupid questions every day at these press briefing things, you know what it's like for Carolyn Levitt to stand there and say, I just answered that question. How many more times do I need to say? And then she answers the question again. It's just a big heavy weight of people that are just not on the team of the United States of America. And it's tough to see that day in and day out. But what we have is conservative media is here, and we see not only at Right Side Broadcasting, we have conservative podcasts and conservative networks, and things are growing because we're looking forward to the future of a better America and a better country and making America great again. That's what this is about. And we're going to continue to speak this truth. It's like speaking light into darkness. There's so much darkness out there, but we're speaking light every day we can at this network. We're not just doing this to, full of just whatever, just spewing our commentary. This is legit how we feel and think. And it's just awesome that you guys are a part of this whole thing, because when we interview you at all these rallies, you say the same stuff we're saying. And it's just great to have that camaraderie as a community of American patriots that say enough with the left junk that's out there. These few people that are so woke, it's horrible to see in Congress. It's horrible to see with the mainstream media. But again, they're trying to make it to be that there's bazillions of people across this country that are like that. It's not the case. It's a small percentage of people that are so anti the United States of America. It's just facts. We see it. It's common sense. You don't need to be a scientist or take a poll to hear that or know that. I mean, look at all the rallies we covered. We were all over the country, and we saw time and time again people from all walks of life. I was in the Bronx. President Trump stopped there. The last time a president stopped there was back in 1980 when Ronald Reagan stopped there. And President Trump is there, and there were people from all walks of life there. And we were there as a family. We were saying, you know what? This is the guy that we want in that White House. Every time President Trump has done these speeches, every time he's had these remarks, every time he's made us laugh, every time he's dressed up, as a garbage man, every time he's dressed up and sold French fries at McDonald's, it was for our country. It wasn't drama. Yeah, sure, it's entertaining, but it's real. It's really real. It's as real as my two hands are. It's that real. It's good versus evil. It's facts, and we know it to be true. So yeah, no wonder we're being like, yay, go President Trump. I have a right to do that. We have a right, as we have opinions here at the network. We do cover stories. We cover the White House. But we're geared to truth and common sense as a priority over all of it. But that's what's great about President Trump and the team, is that's what they're doing as well. They're standing for all the things that you and I believe in. And that's what this is about. And that's why I'm proud to be an American. That's why I'm proud to be on conservative media. You know, after all those years in mainstream media and not being able to speak freely about my faith or my politics, right? That's why everybody says back in the day, don't bring up religion and politics. Why? What are you afraid of? Bring up religion and politics. It's a hot topic, isn't it? 8:21, Thursday, March 27th. We're going to go to the White House here at the State Dining Room as we're monitoring various stories that are happening across the map, seeing a lot of great things happening, including, we saw recently that the MS-13, one of the leaders there, was captured and now being taken away from our country. And this is what it's all about that we've seen from the president and his team at the RNC back over the summer of 24. And then at the inauguration and on, we've heard from people that have had their lives devastated because of people in MS-13 or other gangs or fentanyl or whatever it is. And that's why we see Army strikers, can you believe it? U.S. Army strikers along the southern border right now for enhanced protection for the southern border for no illegal aliens to come through. A show of force. There's nothing wrong with a show of force. If you went to New York City over the past 20 years, after 9/11, you saw NYPD driving in about 7 or 8 cars in a row with their lights on and showing force. And so we're seeing that. But this is all geared in peace through strength. It's not to start a war. It's not to get involved in anything like that. But it's all about peace through strength. So we're seeing great things happen on that front right there. So again, 8:22 right now. Looking forward to going to the White House here at any minute. This was scheduled for 8 o'clock. So obviously 8:23 Eastern time. Waiting right now for a live feed to the State Dining Room. I do want to read a post from the Muslims for Trump. They posted this on X right after the president won the White House. Reading this, of course, because tonight the president participating in the Iftar dinner, an evening dinner in which Muslims eat to break their fast during Ramadan. Muslims for Trump posted this after President Trump won. They said, on behalf of Muslims for Trump, we extend our warmest congratulations on your election as the 47th President of the United States. We are proud to have played a role in mobilizing Muslim American voters in key swing states to support your vision for our nation. Your commitments to end the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine and to prioritize American tax dollars for the benefit of the American people resonate deeply within our community. I'll stop there, as you can see, if you want to look on X for the rest of that post there. But what we're seeing is, again, people around this country saying this makes total sense, common sense, to vote for President Trump. And that's what we saw back in November of 2024. So not getting too comfortable when it comes to seeing all the wins, because you always have to hope for the best but prepare for the worst in many cases. So that's kind of the mindset that I'm in right now when it comes to politics. Sure, I have my personal life. I have a beautiful wife and a baby daughter that's 6 months old, and the in-laws are visiting right now, and it's wonderful to spend time with them, and it's great to come here to work and all that. But still on the mind of many Americans is, I want to make sure our constitutional rights will always stay intact. I want to see our country be made great again. I want our nation to go to the next level. I want to see freedom reign throughout this whole nation. And so that's what we're about here, as we move forward in this second administration, the 47th President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief. Isn't it awesome that he is an outsider? He's not somebody that was part of the establishment. And it's awesome to see that somebody that was not part of the system. And they were so surprised in 2015, 2016. And then when he won and was sworn in 2017, they were so surprised that President Trump won the White House that they overreacted in 2020 with what happened there with the election. They say, oh, we don't want that to happen again. Here, make the votes come in at 3 or 4 in the morning. Well, we learned a lot of lessons over the past 4 years, and no wonder President Trump's going pedal to the metal. He almost got his life taken. He went through lawfare. but he overcame all of that. Talk about a fighter. Talk about somebody that all men in this country should say, yeah, that's an alpha male. Let's continue that kind of action in this nation and not be afraid to say that, not be afraid to move forward as a male in the nation. Big deal. Toxic masculinity is BS. But anyway, the point is, still though, President Trump, even the alpha dog that he is, he's still able to say, you know what, looking over at the Declaration of Independence that's in the Oval Office right now, and he says, I'm just tearing up looking at that. Or how about, various things that he's done that shows that side of him. But at the end of the day, picking the great patriots that are in the cabinet to be a part of a great team, knowing that it takes a team to win this thing. And we're seeing that happen every day under this president. So thankful for it. We're grateful for it. It's a good time to be alive. What a wild time it is to be alive right now. Think about all of the history we're seeing before our eyes right now, including this following statement that I typed on Truth Social the other day. Donald Trump is the George Washington and Thomas Jefferson of our time. Really believe that, and we're actually seeing that unfold before our eyes. Producer, can you please repeat? Okay. All right, so it's 8:27. We're going to the bottom of the hour here. In a couple minutes, we're going to take a commercial break. And then as soon as we see a live feed from the White House, we'll go right back there to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Even if it's in the middle of the commercial, we can cut right to it. So we'll be right back here on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
I hear every day about the products you all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard MyPillows for only $14.98. Body pillows, $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Welcome back to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We will be showing you the dinner here as soon as we get that live feed right now. So thanks so much for streaming in live right here on RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. It is the bottom of the hour, 8:30. Looking at the White House feed right now, and we do know that the feed has not started yet. So as soon as it does, we will take you there live right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We'll have the entire speech as we get it, and also any participatory event that the president's in. Of course, we get to show you that live right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. All right, in the meantime, as we await the president from the East Room of the White House, I want to read that quote from January 20th, 2025, from President Trump. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country, we will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God. President Donald J. Trump, January 20th, 2025. He also said this will be the most America First administration in history. And he's always said, of course, the best is yet to come. So we see so many wins right now, a lot of accomplishments right now from the southern border, with it being sealed like President Trump said it would be. That was the first thing he said on the 20 core promises that the RNC platform released. Number one was to seal the border. That border is sealed. We're seeing our military down there. We're seeing a lot of it getting sealed up. Let's go right now to the White House in D.C. Okay, so the producer is letting me know that they're getting it ready actually right now, so we'll be going to that as soon as I see it. But it sounds like it's around the corner, so looking forward to seeing the president there at the White House. But, okay. All right, just listening to the producer a little bit as we are live, going with the flow here at 8:32, Thursday, March 27th. Back to the point, southern border sealed right now, but also the problem of the fentanyl still. And President Trump, of course, with the tariffs with Canada, with Mexico, and also more tariffs just in general for the auto manufacturers from around the world. Any imports of those cars, if you're not making the cars here, there's going to be a tariff on it. And, you know, some of these leaders like Carney up in Canada, upset by this. But we know that we have been ripped off in the world's piggy bank for so long. So President Trump says, no, not going to do that. Not doing that anymore. So he's going full on for this country. And I think that there is a USA chant that is very loud happening around the country whenever we hear another win by this administration. So again, to turn down the volume on any things that we're hearing from the mainstream media, or just a few people that are in Congress that are just radically insane and woke on that side, we hope the best for them in the sense of hopefully they see the light, or they are woken up, or they get red-pilled, or something good for them. You know, it would be great to see that. But at the end of the day, it's a super small minority as we are seeing a lot of wins in this nation. So we're going to continue, hopefully, to see a lot more coming up. All right, so again, 8:33. If you're just joining us right now, you did not join just to hear me ramble on. You tuned in to see President Trump participate in the White House Iftar dinner. This evening dinner is for Muslims who eat the dinner to break their fast during Ramadan. So President Trump participating in that event at the State Dining Room in Washington, D.C. Live coverage right now on RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thanks so much for streaming in, and we'll go there as soon as I get the directive or as soon as I see the live feed pop up on the screen. Let's go to D.C.
Good evening and welcome to this magnificent Iftar dinner, very special, as we honor the Islamic holy month of Ramadan. Let me begin by saying to our Muslim friends, of which I have many tonight, and I think we have many all over the world based on the results in Michigan, other places. But I just want to say hello to all of the people that supported us so strongly. Ramadan Mubarak. We're grateful to be joined by Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, thank you very much. Deputy Secretary of State, Chris Landau. Chris, thank you, Chris. Congratulations, by the way. Deputy Special Envoy, Morgan Ortagus. Morgan. Hi, Morgan. A very good friend of mine who I just endorsed, actually, Senator Lindsey Graham. Lindsey. Congressman Abe Hamadeh. Abe, thank you, Abe. Thank you, Abe. Good job. Counselor to the President, Alina Habba, and going to be the U.S. Attorney in New Jersey, very importantly. Great job. Pastor Paula White, my friend for a long time. and somebody that's done an incredible job with faith and all of the things that so many in this room stand for. Paula White. Thank you, Paula. And a person that Paula would have a hard time not being with, I would say Jenny would be about impossible for you, right? But Jenny Korn is here, and she's been incredible, the Faith Office Director, and right out of the White House, right, Jenny? Hi, Jenny. How are you? And a great friend of mine, Mossad Boulas. Mossad, how are you? Thank you. I also want to extend a very special thanks to the hundreds of thousands of Muslim Americans who supported us in record numbers in the 2024 presidential election. It was incredible. We started a little slow with you, but we came along, and by the time that election was finished, we figured we went up like a rocket ship. So I just want to thank everybody very much for that. That was great. And in particular, I want to thank two great gentlemen, the mayor of Hamtramck, Michigan. Hamtramck, how are you, Mr. Mayor? And he's done a great job as mayor, and he's done a great job with his support of us. And Mr. Amr Galib, and thank you very much. You was such a tremendous endorsement right at the right time. Your timing was excellent. Thank you very much. And you'll be the next ambassador to Kuwait, and you're going to have a great time with Kuwait. Wonderful people, and it's a great place, so congratulations, really terrific. You're going to love them, and they're going to love you. And they're going to love you. Thank you very much. Congratulations to, as well as the mayor of Dearborn Heights, Mr. Bill Bazzi. Bill, good job, Bill. And Bill actually is going to be the next ambassador to Tunisia, and that's big stuff. Those guys, you're very upwardly mobile. You're doing very well. That's great. You're going to have a tremendous time, both great countries, and enjoy it. Every day we're keeping our promises to the Muslim community. My administration is engaged in relentless diplomacy to forge a lasting peace in the Middle East, building on the historic Abraham Accords, which everybody said would be impossible, and now we're going to start filling them out because, as you know, Biden did nothing to fill them out. He did absolutely. We had the four great countries, and nothing happened. Despite the importance of the Abraham Accords, but I have a feeling it's going to fill out very quickly. It's already, people are talking already about it. They should have had them long ago. It should have been done. We're rapidly defeating inflation by reducing energy costs and even slashing the price of eggs by 50%. Doesn't sound like much, believe me. You know, when I got here, I was in 1 week, and I was being hit by the fake news media. They were saying, egg prices have quadrupled. I said, I just got here. I didn't even know. I said, what's the problem with eggs? But the problem with eggs was Joe Biden. That was the problem. He let them get out of control. And as you probably saw last month, they went down 35%, and the quantity is so much that, I don't know, I think they're going to go down a lot further. We have a total of over 50% in a few weeks, Lindsay. I'd say that's pretty good. And nobody wants to talk about it. Now they don't want to talk about it. They talked about it when it went up under somebody else, but when it went down under me, they don't want to talk. So we have to talk ourselves. If they won't say it, we have to say it, right? I learned that a long time ago. We're fighting for parents' rights and school choice, and we're stopping schools from indoctrinating children with transgender ideology, something which people of this room are not happy about. I know that for a fact. And it's a shame what's happened, but we're turning it around and turning it around at levels that nobody can even believe. I signed an order also, and I think very importantly also, in particular for people in this room, we're keeping men out of women's sports. Is that okay? Men out of women's sports. The Muslim community was there for us in November, and while I'm president, I will be there for you. I'm going to be there for you, and I think you know that, and our two great mayors understand that. I said that I would see you after, and I saw you after, and I think you're doing better than we are. You're doing better than anybody, so it's so great. I'm so glad you're here. But as we approach the end of Islamic holy month of Ramadan, we're also deeply honored to be joined by many of the international friends and partners, including the ambassador from Saudi Arabia to the United States, a very, very special woman, Princess Rima. Princess, thank you. Thank you, Princess. Great. Say hello to everybody. It's great to see you. Thanks as well to the ambassadors and chiefs of mission from the United Arab Emirates, from Jordan, Egypt, Kuwait, Qatar, Pakistan, Malaysia, Brunei, Bahrain, Iraq, Oman, Morocco, Indonesia, Algeria, Djibouti, Cameroon, Lebanon, Nigeria, Guinea, Tanzania, Kenya, the Maldives, Libya, Senegal, Bangladesh, and we have a few others. I'm sorry if I forgot, but I am going to be in big trouble if I did. But that's a pretty good group of people represented tonight. Wouldn't you say, Senator? I think so. And we're greatly honored by your presence this evening. I just really want to thank you all. It's a special group. I look forward to it. You know, we have long days, not like other people that had this position. I work long hours. And I said tonight, after making 3 calls for people running for office, they call them teletown halls, and they're not easy to do. And I said, well, now I go home and can relax. They said, no, you can't, sir. You're seeing your friends from lots of different places, and that's okay. As soon as I found out who they were, I said, all right, that's okay. But Ramadan is a season of spiritual reflection and self-restraint. Every day during the sacred 9th month of the Islamic calendar, Muslims fast from dawn to dusk, deepening their focus on prayer and devotion to God. So nice. Then Muslims all over the world join family and friends each night and sundown to give thanks to the Almighty and break their fast with an iftar dinner, just like this one. This is what we have tonight, right, Paula? I hope you like it. If you don't like it, don't complain, okay? You're still in the White House, right? We're all in the White House together, so how bad can that be? So tonight we gather with the goodwill and the gratitude for God's many blessings, and that's what it's all about. This tradition exemplifies the beautiful spirit of all 3 Abrahamic faiths, the spirit that inspires us to seek happiness and prosperity at home and peace for the entire world. We're all looking for peace for the entire world. When I was in Michigan, I met with so many leaders of faith, and I said, what about your attitude here, your attitude there? All of the attitudes and all of the things I heard, they said, sir, all we want is peace. Right? Remember, Mr. Mayor? I said, but I understand you don't mind death. They said, no, sir, we want to live. We want to live, and we want to be happy, and we want to love everybody. And I actually, it was a very inspirational period of time for me. And I want to thank you also for introducing me to so many of your friends. It was absolutely incredible. Thank you very much. To our Muslim friends, I look forward to working with each of you to achieve a brighter and more hopeful future. And I think together we're going to do great. You're going to make strides like you've never made. You have somebody in the White House that loves you. Thank you all very much. And now we'll have a little dinner. Have a little dinner. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, so the president just wrapping up his speech there at the White House, looking at beautiful 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C., where the leader of the free world is doing great things for our country. So thanks so much for streaming live with us here on this broadcast. Again, join us tomorrow. More coverage coming up tomorrow right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. For all of us at RSBN, I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll see you later.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
I hear every day about the products you all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard MyPillows for only $14.98. Body pillows, $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.